So I will start off with a major trigger warning, because what I'm going to talk about might disturb you. I wanted to get this right out of the gate done with. So let's start off by talking about the elephant in the room. HBO released a new documentary on their streaming service Max. You can also find it on Amazon Prime Video. Quote, the documentary is called Quiet on Set. It is about former Nickelodeon director, producer, whatever, Daniel Schneider, who, if you don't know, you'll know in the next 2 weeks. This documentary is gross. It made me... I'm 2 episodes into it, and I gotta say, this made me so mad as a human being. Just in general. Like, I already don't like child acting as a whole. Because I think it's wrong. I think it's stupid. It should be illegal. But, here in the United States, we have a massive double standard and say child labor is illegal and should be considered illegal. But child acting is okay. Right. So, let's get into the documentary. This whole thing was about Nickelodeon director Dan Schneider, who, if you don't know who he is, directed various shows like All That, iCarly, Drake and Josh, Victorious, and, those shows back in the day. When we were growing up, we had Drake and Josh, iCarly, and Victorious. You remember that shit? And, the second coming of All That. Relatively good shows. And then there were certain instances where you were like, oh, okay, this is weird shit. Like blatant foot scenes or spraying water over literal children, their faces. Fill in the blanks there. It's gross. The Amanda Show. Remember that shit? We'll get to her in a second. And it was pretty obvious that this guy had a blatantly obvious foot kink. Completely out of the ordinary of the Nickelodeon logo being the shape of a foot. Just throwing it out there. And Amanda Bynes was the star of child actors at that time. In the late 90s, early 2000s, she had the Amanda Show, which, if you know what that is, then childhood was pretty good. Growing up, you had pretty good shows back then. And you look at her now, and it's just 20 years later, it's like, good Lord. Like, I'm not trying to make fun of anyone. This is not the instance where you make fun of people. But I think, I feel so bad for her. I feel so bad for Amanda Bynes and for everything that happened in her life while working for Nickelodeon. I feel so bad. But the documentary covers like various accounts of, toxic work life, sexual abuse, physical abuse, even goes as far as pedophilia. It's just downright disgusting. Daily reminder that child acting should be illegal. And this is one of the very, very few instances in my personal opinion that cancel culture should be used in this case. Absolutely. And there is an overwhelming argument that Dan Schneider and whoever else was involved with him during those moments of abuse, torture, God knows what happened. God knows what else happened. And what else is coming? All of them should be sent straight to jail, no question. No question there. And we know that 2 child predators were indeed arrested and imprisoned. We know that. But, again, I'm only 2 episodes in. But, Jeanette McCurdy, she spoke out on it. Drake Bell, he spoke out on it. Various actors and actresses from, All That or The Amanda Show, they spoke out on it. So, this dude was a effing creep. He was also a power-hungry monster. And it's just, me and Megan were watching this, 2 days ago as I'm recording this. And it infuriates me that where else were the parents? Where were the parents involved in this? I know they were too busy, wiping their tears with their $100 bills. The parents of these children should be fucking ashamed of themselves. And there's one curse, but they should be effing ashamed of themselves. Because while all this was going on, you as the parents, most of you, not all of you, but most of you, stood by and did nothing. You did nothing. And some of you knew this was going on and you said nothing to the police. Nothing. To the FBI, CIA, whatever. Don't care. You could have said something. And you didn't. A lot of those kids that are now grown-ass adults are still probably severely traumatized because of everything that happened during their time working for Nickelodeon. I don't know who the actress, I don't remember the name of the actress that broke this out 17 years ago, but I remember she was on Zoe 101. There's another Dan Schneider show. And she has the biggest balls on the face of the planet to attempt to take down or expose an empire that is Hollywood. People want to talk about, the government's so corrupt, blah, blah, blah. Hollywood. It's just, I could go on a rant, a 45-minute rant, on how much I despise Hollywood. But I won't, because then I'll run out of time. But I will say this, though. This is only just getting started. There's more coming. There is a lot more than this that is going to come out. And myself, whoever may be listening, we got to get prepared for the inevitable worst that will eventually come out.